कृतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। समस्त जन कल्याण निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्म विद्वरम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया।
राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया।
राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया। शबरी विलनी की जाई मैं शबरी
विलनी की जाई।
भजन भाव नहीं जानू रे
भजन भाव नहीं जानू रे।
राम तुम्हारे दर्शन के हित
राम तुम्हारे दर्शन के
वन में जीवन फालू रे।
वन में जीवन पालू रे।
चरण कमल से निर्मल कर दो।
चरण कमल से निर्मल कर दो।
दास दासी की जो पड़िया
राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया
रघुकुल नंदन कब आओगे
रघुकुल नंदन कब आओगे
भिलनी की डगरिया
राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया
रोज सवेरे वन में जाकर
रोज सवेरे वन में जाकर
रास्ता साफ कराती हूँ
रास्ता साफ कराती हूँ
अपने प्रभु के खातिर बन से
अपने प्रभु के खातिर बन से
चुन चुन के फल लाती हूँ
चुन चुन के फल लाती हूँ
मीठे मीठे बैरों की मैं भर
मीठी मीठी पेड़ों में भर
लाई रे झबड़िया
राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया
रघुकुल नंदन कब आओगे
रघुकुल नंदन कब आओगे
भिलनी की डगरिया
राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया
सुंदर श्याम सलोनी सूरत
सुंदर श्याम सलोनी सूरत
नयनों बीच बसाऊंगी
नयनों बीच बसाऊंगी
पद पंकज की रज धर मस्तक
पद पंकज की रज धर मस्तक
जीवन सफल बनाऊंगी
जीवन सफल बनाऊंगी
प्रभु जी मुझको भूल गए क्या
प्रभु जी मुझको भूल गए क्या
दासी की डगरिया
राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया
रघुकुल नंदन कब आओगे
रघुकुल नंदन
रे उमरिया
राम राम रथ के बीच रे उमरिया
नाथ तुम्हारे दर्शन के हित
आज तुम्हारे दर्शन के नित
मैं अब लायक नारी हूँ
मैं अब लायक नारी हूँ
दर्शन बिनु दो नैना तरसे
दर्शन बिन दो नैना तरसे
सुन लो बहुत दुखारी हूँ
सुन लो बहुत दुखारी हूँ
मुझको दर्शन दे दो दया में
मुझको दर्शन दे दो में
डालो एक नजरिया
राम राम रथ के बीच रे उमरिया राम राम रथ के बीच रे उमरिया
रघुकुल नंदन कब आओगे
रघुकुल नंदन कब आओगे
भिलनी की नगरिया
राम राम रथ के बीच रे उमरिया राम राम रथ के बीच रे उमरिया
श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय. It's a very old bhajan, and I know we don't have the habit of looking at the meanings of bhajans, but let me just tell you the meaning of the bhajan. This is very nicely composed. It says, Rama, Rama, ratate, ratate, biti re umariya. Umariya means life, the entire life. But Shabari is speaking about Shabari. She spent her entire life ebbed away. But in the most fruitful thing that a human being can do in their life, and that is chanting the name of Ram. Rama, Rama, ratate, ratate. She went on chanting the name of Ram her whole life, and the life went like that. Otherwise, our life goes away running after worldly things only. We run after worldly thing, one thing, next thing after, and then we dead. Yeah, you're correcting. What? Raja Rank, Fakir, everybody, same thing. We run after worldly things only. But her life was expended in chanting the name of Ram. Rama, Rama, ratate, ratate. Raghukulan, and she was thinking in her mind, Raghukulan Nandan kab aaoge? When my Ram will come? She is living alone in that forest hut, in that jhopri. Jhopri means a little hut. She is living alone. And she is thinking every day, when my Ram will? Raghukula Nandan, kab aaoge? When he will come? Bhilniki dagariya. Dagariya means this is a restlessness. And when somebody is pining after something and restless. And she's called as Bhilni. Bhilni means in all over the world we have what we call as aboriginal peoples who live in the forest and all that. So she was born in that Bhil forest dwellers clan. And the feminine of that is Bhilni. So Bhil and Bhilni. Bhilni ki dagariya means this is her restlessness. When will my Ram come? Main Shabari Bhilni ki jai. I was born in this Bhil clan from a Bhil mother. So Bhilni ki jai. Bhajana bhav nahi janu re. I am from this forest dwelling clan and I don't know about bhajan and bhav, mean to say all bhakti and mantras and puja and worship and gyan, and I don't know about all of these things. She says, I don't know, because I was born in this, among these people. Ram tumhare darshan ke hit ban mein jeevan palun re. Means, but I will live my life in this forest here. I will stay here, waiting for the darshan of Ram, waiting for the vision of Ram. I will live this forest life. Then, Charana Kamal se nirmal kar do dasi ki jhopadiya. Please Rama, you come and with your lotus feet, you step into my hut and purify my hut. Purify my home by coming here. Make it pure. See, look here, my dear. You please see the difference. 50,000 years later today, we are still worshipping Shabadi and singing her name and talking about her. Right? And she did not have education, she did not have money, she did not have power, position, name, fame, nothing. No high birth, no nothing. What people call as high birth and this and that, right? She had nothing. But 50,000 years later, we are talking about Shabadi still. And we dead and gone. Rahana naam nishan re bande. Nobody even know we lived. Isn't it? 54th president. 54 presidents of the most powerful nation, 54 or 74, most powerful nation in the world. Name 5. You see? Nobody knows their names themselves. And there's the most powerful nation in the world. And here 50,000 years later, we're still remembering Shabari. Why? Rama ratate biti de umariya. Chanting the name of Rama her whole life, doing one simple thing which does not bring any of the worldly things which we run after. So we run after all the worldly things, and in the end, nobody remembered. Do you know? I tell you how bad it does get. I hear people saying all the time, you remember that fellow boy? That's such and such person, they call his name or not. Now man, there he living. Have you heard that? You see, everybody know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Eh? That fellow is still living, but they know if he living or he dead. And 50,000 years later, we still remembering Shabari because of this one thing. So people are not remembered for their money and power and position, and they are never. They are remembered for this. See now. Then, roz savere wan mein jaakar rasta saaf karati hu. Every morning she'll get up. Every day morning time early she'll get up and she'll go and clean the road, because she expecting her Ram will come on this road, on this dusty path, and all the leaves are fallen there and he'll not be able to see this path. So she'll get up in the morning early before the sun rises, and she'll take a broom and sweep that, because she's thinking, you know, my Ram is coming and he's stepping on those dry leaves and they're going who want that thing so early in the morning, you know, or that he'll not be able to see the road. So he'll not be able to see. So she cleans the road every day. Apne Prabhu ke khatir ban se chun chun ke phal lati hu. And for Bhagwan Ram, every day she'll take a basket and she'll go and choose the sweetest fruits. And how she'll know which is the sweetest one? Well, taste it. That is the best way. How you know which one's sweet? You taste it. And she'll choose them, put in the basket. Meethe meethe bero ki main bhar laire chabariya. She'll bring in her basket and she'll keep it for Ram. And she's doing this every single day for her whole life until Ram came at the end of her life. She's doing it every day. And I tell you, no result is coming. We are not seeing the result, but she's doing it every day and Ram did not come. She does it the next day and Ram did not come. And she does it and years pass and she's doing it and Ram is not coming. And she doesn't stop. And our resolve is so poor that when we do something 2 days, people tell me all the time, Swāmīji, I do 108 mala. And nothing happened. They tell me that nothing happened. So then what you did? Gave up mala. You did 108 mala and you didn't see any results or changes. He gave up mala and everything. You see? One man said, whenever I sit to do mala, my mind roams. My mind is going everywhere. So what you did? You gave up japa. You should give up roaming mind. Instead of giving up roaming mind, he gave up japa. Quick, quick. People are quick too. Whole life she is doing. Sundar Shyam Saloni Surat Naino Beach Basaunga. When the Rama comes on his most beautiful face, I will feast my eyes when he comes. She is already thinking. Padapankaj ki rajadhar mastaka. I'll take the dust of his lotus feet and put on my head. Jivan safala banaungi. And I will make my mind, make my life fruitful by putting the dust of his feet on my head. My life will become fulfilled. My life will bear fruit. But in this lifetime, I used it to worship Ram and get mukti. Other in our lifetime, we use it to run after material things and get only bhog. Bhog means worldly enjoyment. Prabhuji, mujhko bhul gaye kya? My Ram has forgotten me or what? She thinks. Dasiki dagariya. This is the restlessness of a servant of Bhagwan. Naat tumhare darshan ki nit mai abla ek nari hu. In those days, women were not allowed in the ashram. While Matanga Rishi was teaching his students and all, she was not allowed in the ashram. She used to stay on the outside. And in the night time when they all went to sleep, she used to come and clean everything and run back outside. And then when Guru got up one morning and he found that the place is clean. How the place got clean? Next day again, same thing. So this is a mysterious thing. So they all decided, we'll wait up. We'll get up early one morning. Wait up in the night. And they saw her sneaking into the ashram and cleaning it. Then they realized it was her. Then the Guru allowed her. Otherwise, women were not allowed in the ashram. And the Guru told her, you stay here. Now I am dropping this body. Rama will come. So, he said, I am Avla Nari, a powerless person. In those days, those who live on the, and also born in a tribal clan. Darshan bin do naina tarse. But without your darshan, my two eyes remain thirsting, pining. Without seeing you, my eyes are pining. Sunlo bahut dukhari. And that makes me very sorrowful, full of misery. Mujhko darshan de do daya mein. Oh, ocean of compassion, Ram, give me your darshan. Dalo ek nazariya. Just give me one view of you. Once only. Okay. This is, I remember our Mrs. Bola, who used to be at our California ashram. She used to sing this thing. And since that time I had not heard it. Recently I heard it again. And I thought, let me learn this thing. All right. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam
Vyasena Kratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshini Bhagavati Ashtadashatyayani Amba Tvamanusandadami Bhagavad Gīte Bhavadveshini Namostute Vyasa Vishal Buddhe Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharatatela Purna Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipa Prapanna Parijataya स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणे ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थवस्य सुरेभूतां दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरि ओम्।
साई हमारा हम साई के ऐसा प्रेम हमारा। साई साई हमारा हम साई के ऐसा प्रेम हमारा।
साई हमारा हम साई के ऐसा प्रेम हमारा।
साई राम हमारा साई राम 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 हमारा।
सत्य साई है नाम तुम्हारा शिरडी साई अवतारा।
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 हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई सबका पालनहारा।
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 साई राम हमारा साई राम हमारा।
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 साई हमारा हम Sai Ram Maharaj.
Sai Ram Maharaj. Sai Ram Maharaj.
Satya Sai hai naam tumhara, Shirdi Sai avatara.
Satya Sai hai Ram Kumara, Shirdi Sai avatara.
Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, sabka palanhara.
Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, sabka palanhara.
Sai Ram Maharaj. Sai Ram Maharaj.
Sai Ram Maharaj. Sai Ram Maharaj.
Sai Ram Maharaj. Sai Ram Maharaj.
Sai Ram Maharaj.
Sai Ram Maharaj. Last night I told you the meaning of this bhajan. So that is done. But I was not here last night. Well, you can get it on YouTube. We are seeing chapter 9 of Srimad Bhagavad Gītā, if you are joining us tonight for the first time. And Bhagavan promises in the beginning of this chapter that he is going to give Raja Vidya, royal knowledge, Raja Guhyam, royal secret to Arjuna. And we saw that last night in those two very, very famous verses. And please remember, those verses, we finished them in one lecture, but that is not to be finished in one lecture. Bhagavad Gītā, look here. I have been reading this Gītā, this Bhagavad Gītā, since 1981. Count? How many years is that now? About how much? 37 years, 38 years, right? And here now, no joke, I have touched the surface yet, So you think we'll finish those two verses in one lecture? And I have taught this to two Vedanta batches in the ashram with Shankara Bhashya. Bhagavan Shankaracharya has given Sanskrit commentary on every word there. I've taught that twice in the ashram with that Bhashya, the commentary in Sanskrit on each word. And still we touch the surface yet. And people do one reading and say, life over now. Finish, read Bhagavad Gītā. No. It has to be studied again and again and again and again. Is lifetimes of study. So Bhagavan gave two different standpoints last night we saw. From this ordinary level here, all these which we are seeing are names and forms, and names and form have to exist on some substratum. Like if you have to make a pot, it is called as pot, that is called nama, name. And it has a definite shape also, it is called a rupa. So nama rupa, that shape, has to be superimposed on some material. You cannot just put nama rupa in here in the space. Put it, let us see. How you put name and form in the space? You can't. You need some material, isn't it? So you take clay, and on that clay, a clump of clay, and you superimpose nama rupa. And the nama rupa, I told you, that element of anything in this universe, that element is not real. It is the clay which is real, in this case. Because if you touch there, you don't touch nama rupa, you touch clay. Right? If you understand this very, very simple example in Vedanta, these two verses will become very clear. So, in the very same way, this universe is all nama rupa. When you look, what you see? Name and form only. You cannot see beyond that. Our eyes are only designed to see names and forms. But the eye is actually designed to see forms. And the ears hear the name. But it means our senses. Our senses are designed to only perceive names and forms. But if you want to speak strictly. So the eyes see all the forms. And the ears hear all the names. But names and forms, I just told you, need a substratum upon which to exist. And the substratum of this universe is called as Sat, or existence. The material from which the universe is made up is called as existence. And the names and forms are superimposed on existence. So that existence, Bhagavan said, I pervade the whole universe as that existence. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina. But when we look at the world, we don't see existence. We see the names and forms only. So therefore he says, avyaktam. I am hidden, unmanifest to the eyes, to the senses. You see? It's all names and forms, means all beings which we see in this world, human being, animal being, any divine being, any being. All beings, they exist in me. Matsthani sarvabhutani. Nateshu cha aham. But I am not in them. Means the existence is not in any way affected by names and forms. You see, if you take the clay and you make a scorpion, does the clay become poisonous? No. The superimposition of a name and form on the clay does not change the basic structure and fundamental nature of the clay. If you take same clump of clay, you divide it in two. Take the same clump of clay, you divide it in two like this, and you take this little clump and you make Ram, and you take this little clump and you make Ravan. So the clay suddenly becomes good and evil or what? No, the clay doesn't become good and evil. You are superimposing good and evil on clay. Clay remains as clay. This is what he means to say, Nateshu aham cha avastitaha. I do not dwell. It means to say, my existence is in no way affected by the superimposition of any name and form on me. I am in no way affected. That is the idea. And in the next line, Nachavatthani bhutani pashyame yogamai. See my greatness. From the absolute standpoint now, if we can go into clay, I told you last night, means you can go deep down into the clay. And you become an atom of clay also, and you go into the clay and you ask one of the other atoms or molecules. You become a molecule and you go and you ask one of the other molecule, you know, I came from outside. You are a fat pot. I came from outside, I saw. So this molecule or this atom which you are asking now, because you have gone inside, you have become small like a molecule. And he will say, what are you talking about? You're crazy or what? I am an atom of clay. What are you talking about pot? Where is their pot? There is no pot. Because from his standpoint, there is no such thing as name and form of pot. So in the very same way, when a person realizes God and merges with God, all names and forms disappear. He goes inside. That's like you go inside the clay. From inside the clay, there is no such thing as pot. From outside, when you look, you see pot. So, that absolute standpoint of merging with the reality, and from that standpoint, there are no names and form. That is given in the last line. Nachamatthani bhutani pashyame egomeshwara means, see my greatness. From one standpoint, I appear like this, with names and form. From another standpoint, I appear without names and... That is why he says, see my greatness. And it is that Lord who is capable of taking on any countless number, infinite number of names and forms. And see, if you really reflect on the implications of those type of verses, you are made up from Sat, which is existence. I am made up from existence. Everything in this universe is made up from existence, right? What is the implication of that? That I cannot be greater than you, and you cannot be greater than me, because if we are made from the same... See, if this Murti here is made from clay, this Rama Murti is made from clay, and the Ravana Murti is made from clay, then if you are looking from the standpoint of Nama Rupa, you will say, this is Ram and this is Ravan. But you are only seeing from the standpoint of name and form. If you go deeper now, What standpoint you will see? Standpoint of clay. So what is the difference? No difference. Both from the same clay. But human beings have a habit of looking only at the superficial level. That is called a shallow human being. And we insist on being shallow. If anybody tries to take us to any deeper level, we resist. We insist that we'll remain a shallow being. And that is there in all our language, in our behavior, in our culturing, in our socialization, in everything. You'll hear people talking all the time. Phrases and comments and sentences that reinforce our shallowness. Look at Hina. He managed it himself. Have you heard? Any such statement is a statement from the shallowest level of existence, and the person, by saying it, reinforces that type of shallow existence. So what we have to do, we have to look deeper. Don't live a superficial, shallow life. Live a deeper, fundamental life. This is the idea. So if I look deeper now, I see all beings. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichae Vashwapa Kecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. In the 4th chapter, Bhagavad gives 5th chapter, a most wonderful verse. And he defines a Pandit. A Pandit is one who sees equally that pure Satchitananda existence in an educated Brahmana, in a cow, in an elephant, in a dog eater also. So that means to say, if dog eater is given there, if dog eater is given in the Bhagavad Gītā, that means to say at that time there were people who used to eat dogs. And there are still people in the world today who eat dogs. But don't look down on those people. There is no difference between a person eating a dog and a person eating a cow or a goat. That difference is only there in your mind. There is no difference between a person eating a dog and a person eating a goat. You have made that superficial difference in your mind. It is exactly the same thing. So anyway, the person who is able to see that sat or existence in the dog eater, in the cow, in the elephant, in the educated Brahmana, who is able to see that one sat, he is Pandit. What a definition in chapter 5, the same Gītā. And that is the person who is able to look deeper, not only as superficial. And we live superficially and insist on living superficially. Learn to be a human being who lives at a fundamental level. Become subtle-minded, not gross-minded. That is the idea. Now, after Bhagavan explained this, and I told you, I just quickly skimmed over this whole thing. Those 2 verses deserve the 9 nights and more. But if I stop there, everybody goes say, but he take a whole yajna and he finished 2 verses. My own Mara tells me that. When I came back from India, heady joke, When I came back from India, I went to some place to do satsang. My Mara come from all the way Canada to listen to me do satsang. So in that satsang, I said, Raghukula Riti Sada Chali Ai, Pran Jai Baru Bachan Na Jai. That is half a chopai. So I took that half a chopai and I spent the whole satsang explaining that thing. So first time she hear and she son. But where is this? Anything don't know. He gone in India for 6 years and he only learned half a chopai. So people also like to see that something finished, We have to do something. We can't just two verses, whole 9 nights gone. So I had to continue now. So now, last night we saw Bhagwan giving that example. Yatha akasha stitaha nityam vayu sarvatra gomahan tatha sarvani bhutani matsthani iti upadharaya. It is to be understood that just like how the air exists in this space. Now the space is what accommodates the air. That is the idea. The air is here, we are breathing that air now. So the space is accommodating the air. In the very same way, Bhagavan is the existence which accommodates all nama, group, names and forms. He is the existence which accommodates all names and forms. Like, he gives an example. Example is the best way to teach, I told you. Then he explains in a few verses a very, very important thing which we all have to understand. And I will chant number 7, and then we'll see that explanation is of utmost importance, because I tell you, Hindus themselves are confused about Hinduism. We'll see that now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya, Prakritim Yanti Mamika.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Kalpakshaye Punastani, Kalpado Visrijamyaham.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Prakritim Swāmavashtabhya, Visrijami Punah Punaha.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Bhutagramamimam kritsnam, avasham prakritirvasham.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki jai. Let me tell you a few things which actually it is also the result of a common history which we have shared, and so we have ended up in a certain position which is also not impossible to rectify. We have to do things, because of our historical circumstances. We came here as indented laborers, and our grandfathers and great-grandfathers worked hard, and they did not have an opportunity to go to school and to study, and because they came from a colony of the British in India also at the time. British was ruling India, then they were ruling Trinidad, Guyana, all these islands and all. So they were moving people here and there everywhere at their whim and fancy. In that process, they had, of course, a planned program to Christianize all of us. They wanted to make Christians out of all of us. And so they brought John Morton and they made him start schools and send all the children to the schools. And if you have to be a teacher in the school, you have to convert to a Christian and all of that sort of thing. Well, the world has always had upheavals in terms of religion, and there's always been religious struggle all across the world and all of that sort of thing. But Sanatana Dharma is a very, very powerful thing. Even though they tried to wipe out Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma still persists very strongly today. The British tried to wipe it out. That was a stated policy of the British. They wiped out the language, Hindi, but they were not successful in wiping out the Sanatana Dharma. But what has happened in the process is we, to a very, 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 very great degree, have become Christianized without knowing it. And I will tell you, I will show you how. And you will also see. You just have to listen carefully. Now, I'm not saying anything is wrong with Christianity, or anything is wrong with Islam, or anything is wrong with anybody. I'm saying that if you are a Hindu, you should be a Hindu. So it is not uncommon to hear in a funeral, for instance. Here, I hear it all the time. It is not common to hear in a Hindu funeral, okay, Mr. Ram Lal, he has died. Or whoever that person is, right? I'm just using a name. Mr. Ram Lal has died. And now he has gone to live with his Bhagwan Krishna. Right? You heard this type of thing? That is a pure Christian statement. The only thing is that you have changed Bhagwan, some other name of the Lord, and you have put Bhagwan Krishna. Arey bhaiya, it's a very simple thing. In Hinduism, when that fellow dies, he takes another body somewhere. That is Hinduism. When he leaves this body, he is born some other place. If you are saying that he going to live with Bhagwan Krishna, you are talking Christian. You are a Hindu using Hindu words but talking Christianity. There is no such thing in Hinduism. That he going to live with Bhagwan Krishna. Now we go on by the feet of the Lord. That is a pure Christian concept. And like that, we hear so many. Every day I travel, and that is because you have become Christian in your thinking. So, and I'm saying, well, not all is lost. We can slowly start bringing back a Hindu understanding of cosmology and the universe. In the Hindu concept, when that person dies, he reincarnates somewhere else. That is there everywhere in Bhagavad Gītā. Bhagavan in the 4th chapter is telling to Arjuna, Arjuna, bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha. I have had countless births, and so have you. What are you talking about? Bhagavan himself saying, what are you talking about if Allah going to stay by the feet of Krishna? Bechara born somewhere as a donkey or monkey or something also. That's possible also. We born somewhere as a human being. We born as anything, isn't it? So now that fellow who wear a dhoti and a kurta and he talking Christianity, I really don't know how to call him now. I don't know how to call him. You learn Hinduism na and speak Hinduism. No. No, that is one concept, right? Which I just told you, which we have all become Christianized and we speak like a Christian. Here's another one. I started with that one, so you will get the drift of what I am telling. The other one is right here. And what is that? In Hinduism, we do not have any concept that at one time in the past I was not there and then Bhagwan created me. That is not there in Hinduism. That's a Christian concept. In the 2nd chapter it tells very, very clearly, my dear Arjuna, natve vaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamata param. You see these verses very clearly. This is Hinduism. There was never a time in the past when you were not. means you have always been there. And you are there now, and there shall never come a time in the future when you will cease to be. You were there in the past, you are there now, and you will always be there. That is pure Hinduism. In Christianity, what is the idea? The idea that one time you were not there, and Bhagwan, maybe he was lonely or something. We know. He said, I am lonely. Oh God, I am such a loser. Oh, I so miserable. But because there has to be some reason, there will have to be some reason why, when he alone was there, he started making others, right? So nobody could figure out the reason, of course. Because if something is done, if I move this bottle from here and put it here, there has to be a reason. Anything that is done, there has to be a reason for that. So if he alone was there, and then suddenly one day, he started making people. Nobody in this world could figure out the reason. Any reason you give it will be foolish. Yes, any reason you give it will be foolish. This is first thing. Second thing, please see this thing. Creation is a logical impossibility. Creation is a logical impossibility. Please pay attention to this, and I'll show you just now. If you can tide over these logical questions, then you will be great. I'll show you how creation is a logical impossibility. Let us say that God alone was there. So there is no human being, and there is no universe. There is nothing. What is there only? One God. Oh, take care. For whatever reason, he decides, let me start creating. Please see slowly. He decides, let me start creating. So, whatever he starts creating, that thing will happen at a point in time or not. Because if there was nothing before, and he creates something, that has to happen at a certain point in time. Right? Oh, so that means to say that there was time. Because the creation has to happen in time. That means to say, time has to be pre-existing. But he created time also. He created time also. Then naturally you will ask, at what time? At what time he created time? You see how creation is a logical impossibility? And the rishis studied this thing thousands of years ago, and they realized, if anybody come to you to tell you anything about creation, there's a cock and bull story for children to hear. Creation is a logical impossibility because any act of creation or any act of any being, that act has to happen in time, because that act is a finite thing. It must have a beginning and an end. And if you're talking about beginning and end, you're already talking about time. And if you're talking about time, that means time has to be pre-existing. Then you ask, who created time? God. Then you ask, at what time? You're in trouble. You cannot answer these questions. So the rishis knew thousands of years ago that creation is a logical impossibility. Therefore, the teaching in Hinduism is not that God created this world. This world has always been there, coexistent, inherent in God. And why is that possible? Because God is infinite, and anything is possible in that God. The world is inherent in God. And what he does, he keeps making the world manifest, and again the world demanifest. And this is how we see everything going on in the world actually. It's called a vyakta. The world keeps going. And we call it cyclical, because it goes into unmanifest and again comes back manifest. and goes into unmanifest and comes back manifest. Right now the dinosaurs have gone into unmanifest. But you don't think that the dinosaurs will not come back. Even science shows possibilities of how it will come back. The universe goes into manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. And this is what Bhagavan is telling in these two verses, which I just told you there now. Whatever I just explained to you. If you could answer the tide over the logical hurdles, then you may find a solution, but it is impossible. So he says, in the first one, number 7, Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye. Kalpakshaye means in the beginning of a kalpa. You see, the whole world also, now science is also talking about black holes, now, how whole universes are just sucked into a black hole, and then at some time there is some big bang, kaboom, like, and then how they, again, manifest. But everything is there in the black hole. Whatever is sucked in will be there. So something of that sort. Of course, science is still feeling, and in the dark they are groping and all that kind of thing. Right? Yes. In the black hole. In the dark they are groping. But anyway, the nature of the universe is to go all the time into a state of unmanifest and become manifest. And listen, whatever is true about the cosmos, whatever is true about the cosmos is also true for your individual life. Every day, your universe goes into unmanifest. When you go to sleep in the night, where does the universe go? For the sleeping person, is there any universe? For the man who's sleeping, any earthquake or anything could come. Isn't it? He having sound sleep. Sound sleep means sound coming. Sound sleep means sound coming whole night. He doesn't know there's no universe for him. So his universe goes into unmanifest. And when he wakes up, his universe again becomes manifest. Well, in the very same way, the Lord, Brahmaji, when Brahmaji goes to sleep, well, this whole universe, which all of us, it goes into what they call a pralaya. It goes into an unmanifest state. And please pay attention to the word unmanifest, a technical word in Sanskrit. Unmanifest means it goes into a seed state as though. It is not destroyed. And that is why seed is another thing. You go on translating Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, you go on translating as creator, sustainer and destroyer. Wrong translation. The British brought a fellow by the name of Max Muller into India, and he was a German scholar. Now see the confusion. Max Muller is a German by birth. He is a Christian, and English is his second language, and Sanskrit is his third language, and Hinduism is his second religion. And he is going into India to study traditions which have been there for thousands of years prior to him. And he is going with a purely Christian vocabulary and Christian-oriented ideological bent. Right? And whenever he sees a concept over there, and he doesn't understand that concept, he translates that into English language with a Christian ideological bent. You think that translation could ever come out clear and clean and correct? And he has become the authority for whatever was taught in India. Max Muller, a German fella. So he is the one who started all this thing. Brahmaji is the creator, Vishnu is the sustainer, and Mahesh is the destroyer. But the first thing he said is wrong, because there is no creation in him. So how we say Brahmaji is the creator? Brahmaji is the manifester. Manifester means whatever was there in an unmanifest state, in a seed form. What is the meaning of unmanifest? Like this. If you take a mango seed in your hand, right? In that mango seed, there is a mango tree inside there or not? There's a mango tree inside there? Yes. But if you open the seed like this, do you see any mango tree? No. So we say that inside that mango seed there is a mango tree, but it is there in an avyakta, unmanifest form. When you put the mango seed in the ground and you give it water and this and that and all the things, then whatever was avyakta, unmanifest inside the seed becomes manifest. That is called vyakta. So Brahmaji's job is not to create. In fact, nobody in this universe could create anything. You cannot create a mango tree. Nobody could create anything. You could take the seed and put it in the ground, but that tree is already inside. So Brahmaji's job is to bring it from a state of unmanifest and bring it into manifestation. He is not the creator. That fellow translated the word Srishtikar or Srij Dhatu in Sanskrit. He translated as creation. Max Muller did that. But that is a Sanskrit word. This fellow, Sanskrit is not his language. The word Srij Dhatu in Sanskrit, from which that Srishtikar comes, that thing means something totally different from create. But he doesn't have the concept, you see, where he came from. So he says he's a creator. Srij means to usher from one place to the next. To usher in like that. So this thing is in unmanifest. Brahmaji's job is to usher it into manifest. But the religion he came from, this concept is not there. The religion he came from, the concept is God was there and there was nothing. And he alone was there and suddenly a la peanut butter sandwich. He came from a culture with that. So what he'll say? He has to translate this word as that because that's the only concept he knows. So, Brahmaji is the manifester. Bhagavan Vishnu is the sustainer. That word was okay. And Lord Shiva is the dissolver. You cannot destroy anything in this world also. Just as you cannot create anything, you cannot destroy anything. You think it is destroyed, but you did not destroy anything. Look here. When you take your grandfather to the creek, right? And you put him on that pyre and you light it. What did you destroy? Nothing. That body is, let us say, 100 pounds. It is made up of space, air, fire, water and earth. What you are doing by the fire, you are just sending back all the space, air, fire and water and earth back to its original source. You didn't destroy anything. Science also tells matter can neither be created nor destroyed. So you are just sending back. And they say the body is about 80% water. The water gone up in the sky and you fall on a rain, you catch it in your barrel and you drink your grandfather. Is correct or not? Your grandfather become part of you. At least one cup you'll catch. So, nothing is created or destroyed. So Lord Shiva is the dissolver. When you take a spoonful of sugar and you put it in water and you stir it and you dissolve, did you destroy the sugar or did you dissolve the sugar? Dissolve. There is no such thing as destroyer. So those are all wrong words. Now see, we all go on using Max Muller, who was not a Hindu, he translated something and told us, and then we go on saying these words. We have to get our own religion clear on our terms, not on somebody's terms. So one says here, when at the beginning of the Kalpa, after Brahmaji wakes up, just like when you wake up in the morning, your world slowly comes back to you, becomes manifest. Brahmaji's job now is to bring all things that had gone into pralaya, into a state of unmanifest. His job is to make all things manifest. So he says, in the beginning of that Kalpa, this is what I do. Bhagavan is saying. Now because the same Bhagavan Krishna is the same Ishvara who was manifested Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. So he's talking as Ishvara here. Bhagavan Shri Krishna is talking as Ishvara. So I bring forth all beings from their state of unmanifest. I start bringing them slowly into manifest. Kalpakshaye. And then Purastani Kalpada Visrajami Aham. Actually this one is at the end of the Kalpa, the first one. At some time this world which we are seeing here is going to come to an end. End means what? N means it will go into unmanifest. It's called pralay. That's the first one. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshe. The destruction of the kalpa. Means the dissolution of the kalpa. I send all beings into unmanifest. And at the beginning of the next kalpa, I again make all beings manifest. So this is a cyclical thing. We all recycle beings. Recycling is natural to the universe. And whether you like it or not, you will be recycled. We all recycle beings. We go and come. So that is in this verse. Then in the next verse what he says, Prakritim swāmavashtabhya visrajami aham punah punaha. Visrajami punah punaha. It means to say, I am the Lord and Master of the Prakriti that is overseeing this whole process of coming and going. Coming and going. Coming and going. Everything is coming and going. Coming and going. Bhuta gramam imam krishnam avasham prakritehe vashat. This is a very important phrase. He said, Bhuta gramam imam prakritehe vashat. Krishnam avasham prakritehe vashat. It means to say, all beings, you and I, in this whole process, Bhagwan is the only one who is free. We are bound. Means we don't have choice. Any one of you asked to be born in Trinidad? You had an interview with God? You see, you had no choice. You find yourself born in Barakpon, Pinal and Pleasantville. You find yourself born there, isn't it? You don't have an interview with God, you don't have a choice. You fill out a form online. Tick this box. Where you want to born? They say, where you're born, which parents you're born to, what color you're born, which nationality, which race you're born in, and you had any choice? No, Swāmavashtabhya visrajami punah punaha avasham krishnam bhuta gramam imam prakritehe vashat. All of us are subject to the prakriti of Bhagwan. He is the one who is the wielder of all things, and we are just the recipient of whatever he wields. But very, very, very important thing. Bhagwan will explain it, because a question, natural question will arise. So what do you mean to say? I am a victim of the whim and fancies of Bhagwan or what? He just decide, a la peanut butter sand, oh what? Inni, mini, miny, mo, shut your mouth and go. Well, he just decide like that or what? On what basis he sends you here? On what basis he sends you to Trinidad, which is heaven, and he sends people to other places which is like hell? I'm just saying, you will have to characterize your own thing. So does he have a basis? If he is the controller of the whole Prakriti, the whole nature and everything, and he is the one who is determining who will go where and all of that thing, what he does that by any arbitrary, selective process like that, just arbitrarily just decides? Or does he have a basis for sending this one here and that one there? What is the basis? That question we'll see tomorrow. On what basis the Lord sends this one here, that one there? This is a wonderful, intriguing question. I have a very, very close friend who is a pastor. He came one day. So I asked him this question. You please see his reply. But as he replied, we reply something else, we go hear that tomorrow. But here he replied. I say, boy, when one child born in Buckingham Palace, and at the very same moment, a next child born in Claxton Bay dump, because there are people living in that dump there, their families living there. At the very same moment, a child born in Claxton Bay dump. And according to your religion, well, it's God who creates, because remember, they have the whole idea of creation. So it's God who creates people. I say, who created them? God. On what basis he sent one in Claxton Bay dump and he sent one in Buckingham Palace? When the two of them born are the same, on what basis did he send these two children in two different places? He tell me, He said that the parents responsible for that. I say, wait, hold on. You mean to say that the parents did something wrong and the child suffering for it? He say, yeah. He say, yes. I say, so you subscribe to the view that one man do the crime and the next man do the time? Yeah. He say, yeah. I say, Hari Om. Because in no jurisprudence on the earth and no jurisprudence of any time historically also that one man do the crime and the next man do the time. That is an illogical thing or not? But that is his belief. And where I am talking logic and you are talking belief, our discussion, if I am talking about something logical and rational and you are talking about what you believe, we cannot have any discussion. Either two believing people have to talk or two rational people have to talk. Because the moment he tell me, well, I may believe, well, he stumped me, I can't say nothing again. If you say that you believe, well, I go do now. But in Hinduism, why one child is born in the dump and why one child is born in Buckingham Palace, Ishvara has a rationale for that. And that will be seen. Okay. All right. We shall see tomorrow. Let me